Hey, we're the Eli Young Band, and you are watching a Country Music is Love exclusive. Yeah, Turn It On was a song that was written actually right here on this tour bus, sitting in these seats. And James and I wrote it with Rodney Clausen and Matt Dragstrom. But it kind of Turn It On started out as kind of this Fleetwood Mac-y kind of jangly thing that we started with. But originally we had this turnaround thing that was when from Turn It On to Turn It Off, and we actually had named the song Turn It Off first. Felt as if that wouldn't have been the best idea to release to radio, so we changed it to Turn It On, and in the studio it turned into kind of this pop rock guitar thing underneath this cool melody that turned out to be really fun, and we always knew from the beginning that the song would be a fun song for our live show, and which we always make that a priority for the songs we put on records. But would y'all like some of the microphone as well?
You nailed that answer. I don't know, we're good.
That was like maybe rambling. It's funny. Why don't you want to tell the story of the Shiner?
We played a show. And we right there at the brewery. It was like a bike race or something.
Yes, the day we almost died, right?
Yeah. The day our music almost died, right? Is it?
So you don't want to tell the story?
Well, I don't. I was talking about the show.
Yeah, it was 11 a.m. We went on 11 a.m. We had 2 shows that day. We played at the Shiner factory or brewery or whatever, and left there around 12:30 to drive from Shiner, Texas to Fort Worth, Texas to play a show at Ados. And we had to cancel that show that night because we had a tire blow on our van. And the van went into oncoming traffic. We had a total almost famous moment of thinking that it was all over and missed a extremely large truck by the skin of our teeth.
What's really funny is we did an interview earlier. There's a question of who's the worst driver, and Chris threw himself under the bus on that one. Said I'm the worst driver, but that Chris was the one that saved us that day. So he got all of his good driving out of the way at one time, and he was done. Yeah. Then he dropped the microphone and walked off. Yeah, it was quick. If an airplane, there's time for a confession. There was no time for a confession. It was when we stopped, checked ourselves, and made sure we saw we were still there. It was this weird group hug.
I love you, man.
Yeah, it was like this I love you group hug in the middle of the interstate, and then this car stopped and it was like, dude, you almost died. It was like, and if you hadn't stopped, I would have been we would have hit, and it would have been, yeah.
I mean, you don't. It's one of those moments like when you really see your mortality in front of you, and when you see that and you make it through, it really is an enlightening moment, and it makes you appreciate your life so much more. And I think we probably needed that around that time because it was a rough go at that point. We're towards the end of college and trying to figure out what we're going to do with our lives. And at that point, after that, we were just glad to have lives.
What's the worst thing that happened, right?
So to answer your question, yes, we have been to the Shiner.
Not just lyrically, but also musically. I think if you took someone that hasn't never heard the band before and then sat them down and they listened to every record we've made, they could probably put them in chronological order, because there are exceptions on every record, but we tend to write about where we're at in our lives. There is one kind of breakup song on the CP, which it's always fun to go back and write those songs, no matter how stable your relationship is in life. Because something about those breakup feelings that's so powerful. You can always go back and remember that and write about it. But I think there's maybe more of a conscious effort now that we are starting families and husbands to not take ourselves too seriously and not always focus on writing about that. But it's all about having fun. Then for us, this is our release on the road, and it's about writing about just fun things and realizing that people want to come to shows and listen to music to get away and to make that their escape.